Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguela. You can follow this news broadcast live on our website. It's nta.ng/live and all other of our social media platforms displayed on the screen right now. Today is actually International Day of Living Together in Peace. It is a day to promote peace, tolerance, inclusion, understanding, and solidarity. Following the devastation of the Second World War, the United Nations declared May 16 as International Day of Living Together in Peace to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war. The day aims to achieve international cooperation in solving international problems, including promoting and encouraging respect for human rights and for fundamental freedoms for all without distinction as to race, sex, language or religion. The day also aims to uphold the desire to live and act together, united in differences and diversity, in order to build a sustainable world of peace, solidarity and harmony. It invites countries to further promote reconciliation to help ensure peace and sustainable development by working with communities, faith leaders, and other relevant actors through reconciliatory measures, acts of service, and by encouraging forgiveness and compassion among individuals. We'll have a guest in the studio, Reverend Obum Inandi, Vicar, St. Andrew's Anglican Church here in Abuja, Gishiri. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be talking about the International Day for Living Together in Peace. It's a day every individual should take very seriously, a day to, make reminisce rather of if we're making the right decisions in our actions and inactions. What are your thoughts?
Thank you. Although internationally today is set apart to be a day we commemorate peace, but peace should be a life activity. Yeah. It is something we should do every day. But before that, I want us to understand actually what is peace. I don't want to go with what the word take to be peace, absence of war. Peace is not mere absence of war. No. Let us, we are human beings created by God. And if you must understand life, you must understand God.
Yeah.
When God created man, he made man in his own image. And God is peace. In his book, Matthew chapter 5 verse 9, the Bible says, "Blessed are peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God." Which means every child of God must carry the attribute of peace. And without peace, we cannot live together.
True.
Peace is sine qua non to living together. Let's take it from there.
So which is what today is actually promoting. And we live in a society today, we're painting a picture for Nigeria. We've seen, religious intolerance. We've seen non-understanding when it comes to ethnicity, understanding each other's culture. We've seen conflict in various aspects of lives. And a lot of times we get to see awareness on, okay, let's live together. There's always resolution and all of that. Dialogue comes to place. Beside dialogue, what about self-orientation? What about that self-awareness of this is what is right and this is what is wrong?
Thank you. I am thinking that is actually what today is set aside to mean. Not just that we should practice peace only today. No. Today should be set apart to emphasize peace, while we must live in peace and harmony. Without peace and harmony, we cannot stay together. Nigeria is multi-ethnicity. There are many ethnic groups, many cultures and whatever, and the religion. First of all, beside all this, let us understand who we are. That is my emphasis. We are men, we are human beings made in God's image. I am thinking that today we should be emphasizing on teaching on peace. Let the whole world know it. Let the children that are coming up know it. Let every tribe and religion know what peace is all about. Peace inculcates tolerance. If I don't tolerate your difference, we cannot live in peace.
Yeah.
I have my weaknesses, I have my challenges, I have my differences. You should understand me. The Bible says, esteem one another higher than yourself. I should be able to understand you, tolerate you, see you to be better than myself.
And every religion, Reverend, you agree with me, preaches peace. But would you say religious leaders, even leaders who are positioned to guide people, are they doing enough to promote peace?
I don't think so. I don't think so. In that, what we have today is more of professors and not practitioners. Professors and not practitioners. That is what is killing our nation today. We talk too much. We need to live. That's why I said, when I said the stage, I said, peace should be lived. So long as we wake up in the morning and we're having breath, we should be smelling peace.
That's self-awareness.
That is it. So the religious leaders, especially, I am thinking they should emphasize on peace while we must live together, irrespective of your culture, irrespective of your religion. We are human beings. How can I be in an antagonistic relationship with you? We are human beings. I am you, you are me, because we have one origin. So the religious leaders, including myself, should emphasize more on peace, while we must tolerate each other's differences.
And you can't talk about peace, tolerance, without forgiveness, compassion. How do we share that love amongst ourselves? You know, irrespective of where we find ourselves, irrespective of the circumstance or the situation in the country, how do we express that love to one another?
These are the factors that gears peace. For instance, I should first of all understand myself. I am not a perfect being. I should do to you what I expect you to do to me.
Exactly.
For instance, I may sin against you. I have my differences. I'm expecting you to tolerate me. Thereby, I should first of all tolerate you. I should first of all forgive you, even though you sin against me. Yes, I am not saying you should not sin. You may sin against me. You may offend me. I owe you forgiveness so that we can live peacefully. Without tolerance, without forgiveness, there will not be peace. And without peace, there will not be unity.
They say charity begins at home. What would you advise parents, guidance on this day, even in schools, for schools? Because the children, the kind of generation you're breeding today is what we'll see tomorrow for the future. What would you advise to begin to teach our children?
Thank you. I feel we are getting it better now. Let us get to the root. You know, without the family, there will not be the society.
Yes.
Families are the unit of the society. It begins at home.
Yes.
Informal education is more important. Formal education is also important. I am thinking that most of the things that make us is learned in the family.
At the foundation.
Yes. Parents, I am pleading with us. God has given us the grace to raise children. Bible says in Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6, train up a child the way he should follow. When he comes up, he should not be dangling about this. Train a child to love each other. Train a child to live in peace, in harmony with one another. When we get it right in the family, what are we talking about in society?
Because some of us growing up, we remember we don't discriminate among who is a Muslim, who is a Christian. We eat together, we play together, we live together. So thank you very much, Reverend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless
Reverend Obum Inandi, Vicar, St. Andrew's Anglican Church here in Abuja. The Minister of Women Affairs has appealed to Nigerians, especially youths, to exhibit self-control and restraint on the provocation, as ignorance of the law is not an excuse to break it. This is coming after the murder of Deborah Yakubu, a promising student of higher institution of learning whose life was cut short on grounds of alleged blasphemy. Talent described as unfortunate the sad incident which occurred in a citadel of learning, the Shehu Shagari College of Education, Sokoto, expected to breed future crops of persons who will in turn develop the minds of future leaders. She therefore re-echoed the need to re-evaluate educational values and practices, appealing to all, especially religious and traditional leaders, to ensure that youths tread the path of peace, as no religion tolerates such gruesome action. She commiserated with the family of the deceased, prayed for the repose of her soul, and sued for peace and unity in Nigeria. The 24 hours curfew imposed on Sokoto metropolis by the Sokoto state government has been relaxed. A statement by the State Commissioner for Information, Isa Bajini Galadanchi, says this follows briefing by security heads to the state governor Aminu Waziri Tamwal. The curfew is now from dusk to dawn to allow people pursue their legitimate businesses. Government also advised people to maintain peace, as it will not condone any breach of order in the state. Let's turn to other issues. The absence of current and reliable data for basic education in Nigeria is one of the major challenges hindering the seamless implementation of policy framework. But this is about to change, as the Universal Basic Education Commission is engaging key stakeholders on solution-driven approach. Nyeri John will tell us more.
Basic education is the first stage that lays foundation for the mental development of every child. This is perhaps why these educationists are gathered here to devise ways of achieving excellence in this subsector. And to fulfill its mandate, UBEC is conducting national personnel audit of all basic education institutions in Nigeria in compliance with the UBE Act 2004.
Data enables us to plan effectively, identify the strengths and weaknesses of our system, as well as the challenges in our implementation strategies.
Some participants at the consultative meeting of the 2022 National Personnel Audit are optimistic that the first 9 years of schooling in Nigeria will be more impactful.
Accurate and credible data is critical to planning. The number of learners we have in our classroom across all levels, it then allows us to determine how many teachers we need.
Quantity of education materials to supply. It will also help you to determine the infrastructure you should put in place and all that will make up for quality education.
Enable the federal government to make policy and budget to see how Nigerian children are captured.
In Abuja, Ian Ray John, NTA News.
The West Africa Examination Council, WAEC, has commenced the 2022 Senior Secondary School Certificate Examinations. Olanka Ojo reports.
For 6 years, these students have waited for this day. A day they will be sitting for their senior secondary school examination. And the day is finally here. On the first day of the examination, with practicals in animal husbandry as well as painting and decoration, the examination was expected to commence at 9:30 a.m. but did not at Government Day Secondary School, Tudunwada.
We're having animal husbandry practical. So we have the practical book that we bought, so we are using it to practice for the exam.
We're waiting for the officials and vigilators to come in, but the exact time is not the time they came in.
Subject is painting and decoration, practical 3. So practical, so it's number 3. And it's alternative 1 that we're doing. This is, we use our straw board to make it.
The supervisors later arrived at 10:15, 45 minutes behind schedule.
You may find maybe scanty people in some schools today because not everybody is offering the same trade subject. I have reports in 1 or 2 schools that have, called me to say the exams are going on.
It was a different scenario when NTA News got to Government Secondary School Garki Area 10, who were not allowed into the premises. Olainka Ujo, NTA News.
And we're heading to Lagos now to join Michael. He's going to pick up reports from there.
Thank you, Ruth. Academic activities at Yaba College of Technology, Lagos, have been totally shut down following a 2-week definite strike embarked upon by members of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics. Adeni Taiwo monitored the situation on campus and filing the reports.
Non-resumption of academic activities originally scheduled for Monday, 16th May, for full-time students of Yaba College of Technology who have been on break is the first casualty of the industrial action embarked upon by members of ASUP in the institution. There was a lull in activities on the campus, which was near deserted, but for part-time and new students who were seen busy processing their admission into the institution. Adebiyi and Oyekon just got admitted for higher national diploma programs. They are worried about the impact of the strike on their studies.
The students are supposed to spend like maybe 2 years in a HND now, because I wanted to do my HND now. So 2 weeks have already gone out of it. So it's really affecting us.
I feel that it's not fair part-time because we want a short time to cover up things.
I want ASUP to please and everybody involved to come to a resolution just for the students.
Confirming the commencement of the strike, Chairman, Yaba College of Technology chapter of ASUP, Comrade Ojomonde said the strike, though total, will be for only 2 weeks in the expectation that the federal government would use the window to address the issue of payment of revitalization fund for the sector and other grievances of the union.
The non-release of the minimum wage arrears, the 10 months, and then the appointment of unqualified rectors into 5 institutions, although the union is in court on that. And then the discriminate implementation of the Polytechnic Act 2019 as amended.
Part-time is supposed to be like an independent program. I don't know why they do part-time, and we will still probably need to ask them why.
ASUP had in June 10, 2021, suspended its 61-day strike following a memorandum of action signed with the federal government. In Lagos, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Residents of Gideon Village, Ibadan, Ogun State, have called for the intervention of relevant authorities over encroachment of their lands by Christ Embassy. This was during a peaceful protest to the church. Hingino John Adams reports.
From Gideon Village, they organized themselves for a short journey to Christ Embassy in Asheshe to voice out their grievances over encroachment of their lands. As soon as they arrived, their voices and placards attracted the security, who called the attention of representative of the church. As he came, he requested to speak with 3 of the protesters. After their interaction, we tried to speak with the representative of the church to hear their own angle of the story, but he was not willing to speak to the press.
We will have a meeting and a lot of things have been said in front of the camera, and it should not be fair to the church if there is no I did not call press.
It seems the protesters are not satisfied with the response they got.
Last Thursday precisely, they went to the site. As they were walking, all of a sudden, policemen on uniform and their agents, who is came. And when they came, all of them, there was about 60 Williams, beat up all the people inside.
The recent one happened 2011. We wrote a petition to that effect. They came forward. In fact, their CSO, their chief security officer, represented them at the Bafo police station. And he assured us still that the matter will be amicably resolved.
That you leave our land, that you allow peace to reign,
The protesters say they anticipate that in the coming days, Gideon Village will witness a calm atmosphere devoid of land grabbing and encroachment crisis. Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
Port Harcourt is our next port of call after this break, but do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates.
And welcome to Port Harcourt. The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, says although the Nigerian Navy and maritime law enforcement agencies have made commendable efforts in the arrest and prosecution of maritime offenders, the existing loophole in the nation's judicial system has continued to prolong the trial period of offenders. Vice Admiral Gambo stated this while speaking with participants of Naval War College Course 6 on his vision and mission for the Nigerian Navy. Achibombasi reports.
Trials and convictions of criminals will not only serve as a deterrent to others, but will also help in checking criminalities. This is why the Chief of Naval Staff is concerned about the judiciary's speedy trial period for sea pirates and other suspected criminals involved in piracy and illegal activities on the nation's waterways. The Chief of Naval Staff maintained that the loopholes has led to prolonged litigation and abandonment of several vessels across Nigerian Navy bases. Beyond the logistics and manpower committed to this process, the Nigerian Navy says it has also committed enormous resources to keep the over 100 detained vessels in its custody.
The Nigerian Navy is required to dominate the maritime environment in collaboration with relevant maritime agencies to curb contemporary threats in order to peacefully utilize the maritime domain.
Unlike the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the Nigerian Police Force and other security agencies who have the constitutional power to prosecute offenders, the Nigerian Navy is not permitted to prosecute maritime offenders in civil court. These challenges notwithstanding, the Chief of Naval Staff lauded the federal government for the unprecedented intervention in equipping the Nigerian Navy for effective operations. In Calabar, Achibombasi, NTA News.
A Rivers State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has adjourned sitting to May 20, 2022 to rule on bail application filed by counsel to embattled federal lawmaker Farah Dagugu after he was formally arraigned before Justice Chiwendu Nwogu on a 2-count charge. Kingsley Amajori reports.
The embattled federal lawmaker and governorship aspirant on the platform of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Farah Dagugu, is facing a 2-count charge of conspiracy to commit felony and sponsoring of cultism in a fresh charge filed before the State High Court by the state government. After being formally arraigned before Justice Chiwendu Nwogu, counsel to the accused applied for bail, but the prosecutor objected, raising concern.
Hoping that by the special grace of God, our bail application, even though it is discretionary, we are hopeful that my Lord will look at what is before the court and rule one way or the other.
The state council sought to move the bail application, and I informed the court that I had the right to respond to that bail application, and I was interrogated. The court has adjourned for ruling on that argument as to whether or not the state has the right to reply to the bail application, because it was served on us before plea was taken.
The trial judge, Justice Chiwendu Nwogu, adjourned till May 20, 2022 to rule on the bail application in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And that's it from here. Nationwide continues with Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you, Jenny. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, has advised judicial officers in the country to resist pressure by litigants to compromise their judicial decisions, particularly now that politician is taking center stage. He said this at an induction course organized for some recently appointed judges in the country. Olabode Arewa reports.
Gathered in this hall at the National Judicial Institute are new judges to man federal and state high courts, customary courts, industrial courts, as well as grand caddies who are to man the Sharia courts. Their mission is to learn at the feet of experienced judicial officers on the do's and don'ts of their office, as those who will tip the scale of justice when litigants approach their courts.
As ministers in the Temple of Justice, the need for you to imbibe judicial values cannot be overemphasized. Your job as judicial officer is quite tasking and demanding. It involves long working hours, as so it involves on you to strike a balance in handling your day-to-day activities.
The Chief Justice of Nigeria did not mince words on what the nation expects from them.
Judicial officers are enjoined to have a proper grasp of the law, practice and procedure, in addition to mastering the art of judgment writing. It's not enough to have a good grasp of the law alone. You must also go the extra mile, having the law at your fingertips.
During the 3-day training, new skills in legal research, ICT, and mediation, among other procedures, will be inculcated in the participants. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Former Vice President of Nigeria and presidential aspirant on the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has pledged to restructure the country if given the opportunity to emerge as president. He made a pledge while addressing PDP delegates, including Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, at the Unity Hall Government House in Asaba. Tessie Koka reports.
The former vice president outlined other areas he would focus attention on if given the opportunity to serve the nation. In security, economy, and education, he believes the country needs an experienced hand to navigate through. He thanked delegates from Delta State for the support given to him at the Port Harcourt Convention in 2019 and urged them to replicate same this time around.
Unity is number one. You can bring back prosperity, you can create jobs for a teeming young men and women who are leaving the universities. And I said we then move on to education. Today, our universities have been closed for Holy Ghost movement.
Governor Okowa said Alhaji Abubakar had the experience to take the country out of the challenges bedeviling the nation, affirming that the issue of restructuring is germane to the people of the Niger Delta region in the choice of who should rule the country in 2023.
I believe that you are now we can trust. Because the issues that you have raised are issues that concerns us and concerns this nation. I believe that will require a lot of experience to be able to deal with these issues without learning on the ropes.
The meeting was attended by delegates from federal to the local government levels. Tessie Koka, NTA News.
APC presidential aspirant Chibike Rotimi Amechi has advised party delegates to avoid vote selling but vote for only credible aspirants. He gave the advice while interacting with Bayelsa State APC delegates and traditional rulers, promising to tackle insecurity, infrastructural development and job creation as key center of his agenda.
It was homecoming for the APC presidential aspirant, Chibike Rotimi Amechi, who spent most of his early days in Bayelsa State. Being familiar with the challenges in the Niger Delta as a former governor in Rivers State, he promised to take proactive steps in tackling the challenges confronting the region and the country at large.
Is to create employment, to create a source of revenue for as many Nigerians as the government can afford. And everybody is entitled to that, because if you don't create that source of revenue for them, they will create for themselves. I assure you that if we are given that opportunity, there will be changes, there will be progress.
Chairman Bayelsa State Council of Traditional Rulers, noted that Chibuike Rotimi Amechi possesses the qualities to be the Nigerian president.
Your pedigree, your profile says a lot, and that is one thing that you need to be careful because
at the APC Secretariat in Bayelsa State, delegates pledged to support his ambition.
APC presidential aspirant Senator Ibikunle Amosun has continued to engage party members through strategic meeting that will form the think tank to drive his presidential ambition. National Coordinator for Senator Ibikunle Amosun, Ambassador Fatima Abubakar Bala, in a meeting with state representatives from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, re-emphasized the need to elect the most qualified Nigerian as president of the country.
The clock is taken for Nigeria's general elections, and political alignment is the reality of the moment, especially for the presidential election, starting with the party primaries.
Having you on board,
Senator Ibikunle Amosun's consultation team is leaving no stone unturned for the victory of its aspirant at the APC presidential primary.
Thank you very much for answering.
These party men and women were carefully selected to represent the interest of the former Ogun State governor in the 36 states and the FCT as the internal party politics thickens.
I can assure you that we have a good candidate. Senator Ibikunle Amosun is a deep tribalized Nigerian, a brilliant gentleman. He is in all a good man. And at the time he was in Ogun State, so much was done. And there was peace in the state. If that could happen in Ogun, you can imagine what he will do as the president of Nigeria.
The stakeholders were urged to use Senator Amosun's antecedents in the public and private spheres to market him as the preferred choice to delegates. Abdullah Hajia, NTU News.
The Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talon, has withdrawn from the senatorial race to maintain her ministerial appointment. A statement by the minister said she is compelled to focus on the foundations laid towards the advancement and realization of gender equality in leadership positions across the country. She appreciated the support and commitment of well-meaning Nigerians and the people of Plateau State, Southern Senatorial District, especially women groups and stakeholders who purchased an expression of interest form for her to run for the senatorial seat on the platform of the APC. She thanked the president for his commitment to the advancement of Nigerian women and his promise to support and spotlight their stake. She added that her position as minister is indicative of this progress she cannot lose sight of. Hence the need to remain in the office to continue to carry out advocacy for women's empowerment. Western entities Good Morning Nigeria have advocated marriage between zoning and merit to manage diversity in the country. The guests noted that though zoning may be jettisoned in the long run, it may take a while, especially at the sub-national levels. Let's hear more from Lydia Sampson.
A heated debate since the PDP opted for open presidential primaries at the expense of the traditional zoning arrangement. Some guests on the program believe Nigeria benefits more by promoting merit above regional sentiment, but others describe the resort to open primaries as a matter of expediency that may not be sustainable.
If we are much more concerned about merit, about performance, about the productivity of the individual, we would not necessarily be reminded of our differences, which often brings to the question of zoning, the question of rotation to the floor.
When we speak of zoning, in the last 23 or even beyond 23 years, what exactly has zoning, to what end, what benefit have we seen from zoning? Those who leadership has been zoned to their region, what impact have they made even for their own region?
There are also concerns about the effect of an open contest on the smooth running of power sharing arrangements at the sub-national levels.
I've had the privilege of going around the country at least more than 3 times. The uniting thing is poverty, malnutrition, hunger, starvation, and that is not in the front burner of conversation. is not ever put at the center of conversation. What we put at the center of conversation is to drive the anger and frustration of people who are dispossessed within the system, who want to manipulate everybody for advantage.
Political party that want to win election, and that is important. It's a major factor. And Nigerians that want good governance. Now, the issue of zoning will not create a problem. Will not create a problem in the sense that internal democracy parties have the responsibility to regulate their affairs, to have strong organization, to convince electorates, and to form government.
The guys are optimistic that promoting quality representation will eliminate divisive sentiments in the country. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
As political parties prepare for conduct of primaries, INEC and International Republican Institute are appealing for gender equity. They made the appeal during a meeting with women in politics and female presidential aspirants for the 2023 elections in Abuja.
INEC is unrelenting in its commitment to electoral inclusion of the marginalized groups, women inclusive. The establishment of the Gender and Inclusive Department in March 2021 by the Commission represents a bold statement of commitment.
The Commission will not relent on engaging with critical stakeholders at various levels to secure support for increased women participation in the electoral process.
We know the cultural issues, the man-made issues, the selfishness of human nature, which we know that you are battling with. And that is why some of us who are the heads of our parties have taken it upon ourselves to ensure that we treat women at the center of our activities.
It's a money. So my only concern is that the women who are coming out may not have that vehicle full of money. But I know that the organizations, national and international, come to the aid of women. Financially.
Right, we're heading to Makurdi to join Fatima. She's giving us the next set of reports.
Hello and welcome to Makurdi. Governor Soluton has tasked security agencies in Nigeria to evolve more practical measures towards curbing banditry and other forms of insecurity in the country. The governor gave this charge when he hosted a delegation from the National Institute for Security Studies, Abuja, at the Government House, Makurdi. Elias Itiak brings us more.
Benue, like many other states across the country, has continued to grapple with issues of insecurity, including banditry, former header crisis, and several others, which have resulted to loss of several lives, destruction of property, and displacement of over 1 million persons. Governor Samuel Otom, while addressing the delegation of the National Institute for Security Studies, who are on a study tour in the state, noted that time has come for government at all levels to prioritize security of the Nigerian citizenry. The governor says he believes the study tour has provided them with first-hand information on the state of insecurity in Benue, which has negatively affected the economy of the people. The leader of the delegation, Gordon Lometu, says the aim of the tour is to enable them interact with communities affected by crisis for proper documentation and to make appropriate recommendations for necessary actions. The team consists of students of the course 15 Syndicate 2 of the institution, which is made up of personnel of security and intelligence agencies in Nigeria and beyond. In Makurdi, Elias, ATF, NT News.
Still on security matters, following the rising cases of crime in the state, especially crimes perpetrated in the hotels and guest houses, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps says there is need to enlighten hotels management and hoteliers on how to check the ploy of criminally minded guests with a view of reversing the trend and combating crimes. This was the focus of the sensitization session organized by the Benue State Command NSCDC with owners and management of hotels in the state. Sandra Dorese Akeme brings us more.
Activities of criminals are seemingly on the increase in different aspects of human endeavor, as this set of people take advantage of situations to perpetrate crimes with hotels and guest houses, use most signs as their hideouts. Most recent is the incident where an undergraduate, Veronica Tapo, was found dead in one of the hotels in Makudi in circumstances of the public. By the state command, FCC, is elected hotel owners and managers to re-strategize and end activities in the
They want to encourage them and the Nigerian Hotel Association to sit up, they are going to nest in together and help with security. Engage, create private participants or private companies to their guys. Therefore, I don't want to acquire more security targets so they go to another data and apply it in whatever they want to do.
Others in the tourism industry activated by NSCDC come to the message back to concerned authorities.
I'm going to carry all the information what you have learned here. I'll take it to the commissioner.
Only licensed guard companies that should carry out the business of providing security guard services as stipulated by the Act that establishes the private guard companies in Nigeria.
Participants will join from across the 23 local government areas of the state. In Makudi, Sandra Dorese Akeme, NTA News.
That's it from Makudi. Nationwide continues in Abuja after this break.
Welcome back. Nigeria has reiterated its commitment to maintain partnership with member countries of the Organization for African, Caribbean and Pacific States, an organization that has a partnership deal with the European Union and on the verge of signing new terms of developmental agreement. The Secretary General, Georges Chikoti, who is in Nigeria to deepen cooperation, described his engagement with the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, and some government officials as productive. Garba Nata'ala reports.
The Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States, or ACPS, is made up of 79 member countries with an understanding to support each other's developmental strides and reduce poverty. Nigeria, with a population advantage both at home and abroad, about 17 million diasporans, mostly professionals, remitting up to $27 billion annually, is seen as a strategic partner in the Union. Nigeria has also brought a lot to the organization's progressive table over the years. One of the things that fascinates the visiting Secretary General, Georges Chikoti, is Nigeria's national planning process led by the private sector, which he describes as all-inclusive, allowing for continuity.
In the areas of technical assistance, Nigeria provides a lot of support to a number of countries. Nigeria has done quite a lot in terms of its own social development, economic development. That's something that I learned, that you have produced the quality of people you need over years, and you've integrated them into your own development system. That's the kind of thinking we need at the OECD level.
Nigeria's ambassador to Belgium, Obina Onu, reviews the importance of Mr. Chukuti's visit.
We were able to showcase what we are doing in terms of South-South cooperation. There could be a summit or maybe a conference next year. That's also a partnership between the Diaspora Commission and the OSCPS. So that's an opportunity to deepen the relations.
The organization is renewing its agreement with the European Union, and $29.1 billion has been made available for 48 member countries. In Abuja, Garbanatala, NTA News.
Youths of any country are a great asset, and their intelligence and work can take the country on a path to success. This is expected to play out as National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, and National Youth Service Corps signed a Memorandum of Understanding. Let's hear the details from Hamman Jabani.
National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, was established to regulate and control the manufacture, importation, distribution, and sales of drugs, cosmetics, medical devices, and other unwholesome products. And in its over 30 years of existence, it has not been able to cover the 774 local government areas in the country and the grassroots. And the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, which is a program set up by Nigerian government in 1973 to involve Nigerian graduates in nation building and the development of the country. The signing of this Memorandum of Understanding is to use the available resources at their disposal, which is the youth this time around from the over 250,000 core members spread across the country.
I believe we don't maximize their use during that 1 year, but in terms of NAFDAC, what we're going to do, that is going to be specialized training, is sensitizing. Is going to the community and explaining to them. Many of these things are people don't understand the health repercussion. So what we're going to get out of this arrangement is going to be huge.
Honestly, we are bringing a human resource to the table. And the core member, as I've earlier informed you, they are very, very versatile, and they're in the nooks and crannies of this country.
The process started 5 years ago, but the ceiling lasted just few minutes. The two organizations are optimistic the agreement will last forever, with the youth as the agents to see to the full actualization of the mandates. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Right, let's take sports update.
The Nigeria Football Federation has announced the appointment of Pasero as the new head coach of the Super Eagles. The 62-year-old, whose appointment was confirmed on Sunday, is expected to lead the Super Eagles on a tour of the United States, where they will be playing against Mexico and Ecuador. Pasero will be assisted by Finidi George, Salisu Yusuf, while Ike Shoromu returns as goalkeeper trainer. In another development, the federal government has restated its resolve to sanitize the Nigeria Basketball Federation after its unresolved leadership crisis, which continues to twist pragmatic development of the sport in the country. President Muhammadu Buhari recently approved a 2-year withdrawal from international basketball competitions to allow for internal resolution of the impasse.
The decision of the federal government is not a knee-jerk decision. It was based on the reality and the fact of the situation. Twice we invited FIBA to come and step in. FIBA did not come. FIBA insisted we must conduct the elections. Well, if we thought the conduct of the elections alone would end the crisis, it never did, because we ended up with two factions.
Elsewhere, handicap 7 player Ibrahim Abdullahi of Lafia Golf Club, Nasarawa, has set the target of winning the golf event at the 2022 National Sports Festival after he shot a 3 over course par 71 for a 63 net to emerge overall winner of the inaugural Captain and Lady Captains Cup tournament at Epoch Ete Ipas Golf Club, Karishi, Abuja.
This is just a little bit of the surprise we want to spring up.
From now on, you'll hear more of Ibas on media everywhere.
The one-day championship attracted over 142 players. With Sports Update, Ayodeji, Makinde, NTA News.
That's nationwide. Thank you very much for your company. We urge you to please join the NTA family in the fight against rape and rapists. I'm Ruth Aguela. Enjoy your evening.